That's a nice first question, but I feel like resetted mindset to this season. Although I've been on the top step of the podium in the last race, I feel like I don't need to feel any extra pressure. I'm coming to a place where I really wanted to be, and so I need to take the challenge to know the people again. To make myself at home with the team and the team with me, understand how everything is working, and start building the results. But I think and I see myself with the possibilities to start where I ended 2020.
For me, it's a big pride to ride the RC16 because in 2020 was the biggest surprise of the category, in MotoGP category. So I'm really curious to ride this bike, and especially was very hard last year to fight against, and because it's a really fast bike, and I think also very fast in all conditions. When it's dry, but also when it's cold or when it's hot. The bike has shown very good potential, and for this reason was very difficult to fight against KTM last year. But fortunately this year I will ride one of them, so I'm really happy.
2020, I think. The one thing I really wanted was to be Rookie of the Year for sure going into the season. I think 2020 blew all of our expectations a little bit, but 2021, all that I can say is I want to make it a hell of a lot better. And 2020 in general was a season where I felt we achieved a lot. We achieved a few good results. Obviously with my first victory, or KTM's first victory, being the main thing, but also there were so many days where we had the potential to do so much more, and I made a hell of a lot of mistakes and ended up throwing away a lot of golden opportunities. So in general, that was a bit frustrating, and that's one thing that I really want to fix this season. And if I can do that, we have the speed, we have the pace, and I know we can do a good job.
Well, my introduction to MotoGP through Tech3 I think was quite nice, because it was a very low pressure environment. Everyone was very friendly, so quite quickly I felt at home with the French team. I'm expecting to come to a world which is and a reality which is a little bit harder. I feel like I'm able to work more on details on the factory team, and to at least be more consistent. This is, I think, the tools that the factory team is going to give me. And of course, I'm having also a different responsibility, because we will test, of course, more parts, and it's normal. And we will kind of lead the way together with the test team in terms of development of the bike.
Yeah, it's true. The bike is very different, and also the 2020 bike is more easy to manage. I remember in Valencia, when I have the first race in MotoGP class, it's difficult to turn or something like that. You need to fight a lot with the bike. When the last year it's possible to stay in the top 10 when I am a rookie. For me, it's unbelievable. So yeah, the bike for sure in 2020 have a big step.
I think now I can say that the first thing is that I have a good experience, because there are a lot of fear or experience for me. Then I think I'm quite good on the wet, and I'm physically prepared for all the MotoGP challenging. My weakness, maybe my constant is not perfect during the year, so I have to improve to be constant from the beginning to the end. I'm very fast in the middle part of the season, and in the second part I struggle a bit. But this year I think everything changed for me, and I need to be prepared for all the conditions.
Well, it is a quite different version, the 19 and 2020 version, because basically the way the bike handles and the feedback it gives to the rider is quite different. I would say the 2019 version was still very hard to drive. You needed to force the bike to go in the corners many times, and it was very wild. It was completely a big shock when I tried the bike, and through 2020, already through the testing, I saw in this bike much more potential, and the bike was much more natural. The feedback it gave was so nice that I could immediately see that this bike was on for good results.
Now, with having to learn a whole lot of new tracks in 2021, I'm actually looking forward to it. It's going to be a challenge for sure. It's super exciting to know that I'm going to all these tracks for the first time on the MotoGP bike. The main thing for me is now I understand what I got beneath me much better, and I have a much better understanding of how to ride the bike. So I think that going to these new circuits won't be as much of a challenge as it was this season.
Perfection. No, I would say to describe it I feel I've integrated very well with the bike over these past 2 years. For sure, the 19 season I would have liked to have a bit more time on the bike without injury, and of course to not miss the last races. But overall, I think 2020, even if we cut it a shorter year, I think I built up a very good experience, and I'm more at home with the bike, and it's never an ending job, even if you are relaxed, you develop something extra, and you need to get used to that also. So it's a never-ending process. You need to really be sharp at every weekend.
For sure, my dream. I have this dream to win this championship since I was child. So yeah, for sure it's difficult, and especially during the last season, I always fight step by step. I remember in 2015 I stayed for the first time on the podium. Then 2 years later I fought for the victory. I stay on the podium many times, and in the last 2 years I won two races. And the motivation, the feeling to win a race is the best motivation I can have. And then we will see, for sure, be competitive and fighting for the top position in the top championship. Like MotoGP is the motivation that push me every year. For sure, my home Grand Prix in Mugello is one of the sweetest spot of the entire championship, but because the track is really nice, it's flowing, and especially there is a lot of people watching the race, and all the fans that cheering for you is really nice to ride there. Then I have a very nice feeling, strong emotion also in Phillip Island, because it's a really nice place, and it's another very flowing track near the ocean, and especially there are many uphill and downhill, and riding a MotoGP there is quite exciting, and you never know what's gonna happen, because the wind is strong, and the weather can change in a moment, it's a really big experience. I like maybe the oldest track, more flowing, designed by the nature, no? Following the hills and the natural steps. I really like it.
Well, physically, even if I felt good the last season, for sure to have more races in a row gave me a different perspective on recovery. So during this winter, I tried to sort out what kind of recovery tools I could have to play in my advantage if we need to have a very shortened championship or very intense one. And for sure to be able to arrive at the race, which is the last session of the weekend, where you have more hours on your body to perform well. And we get credit for the 40 minutes we ride 20 times a year. So that's really the perspective that I change mentally to be able to see the physical and the mental side as one.
Definitely. I find every single year I go home, I always see more and more people that seem to follow MotoGP, and I think it's definitely growing in South Africa, and I hope that it really comes off in a good way for the sport itself.
For 2021, I want to have the same level like I finished last year in 2020, because I remember the last two races in Aragon. The first, the KTM struggled in general, but the second one, I feel really fast. I don't need to follow anybody, and I go to Q2 direct, my first time in Q2 direct. Also, I have a good qualifying. I finished in the top 10 in the race, so I feel really strong in the last races. And so for me in 2021, I want to start in the same level, and after we'll see. We'll see, because everybody go fast. It's not easy to take the podium or something like that, because sometimes in half second stay 15 riders, so it's not easy for a MotoGP class. But I think if I work good, it's possible to arrive for the podium or the top 5.